Hey, I'm Dave Jones, and welcome to another edition of Around the Valley. Today, taking a look at a gem right here in Central PA. It is Ethnos360, formerly known as New Tribes. We're going to take a look at missions and what is taking place right here in Central PA. You're tuned in to Around the Valley.
WGRC's Around the Valley is sponsored by Zook Septic Services, serving central Pennsylvania. Contact them for inspections, repairs, and system maintenance needs at 570-837-1466 or at zookseptic.com.
You must be Greg.
Yes, I'm Greg. How are you, Dave?
Good. Greg Sanford, I'm Dave Jones.
Good to have you at Wyoming.
Why, you know, I saw that, Wyoming. You pronounce it like the way you think you would.
Yeah, well,
Wyoming.
it's pronounced kind of like if it were Spanish, only it's not Spanish.
Well, I'm excited to be here. I was on this property a number of years ago when it was still under the name New Tribes. So
Yep.
I know there's been some changes here in the program and the focus, although the greater focus is still on missions.
Correct.
And I think this is like a hidden secret here in Central PA. So we're excited to learn more about what is taking place here, this Wyoming program. I know you got some students on site right now.
Yep.
And this is a pretty big complex. Looking forward to it. We're going to get into some detail about your history here, the history of the program, but do you mind if we take a look around the property?
No, I'd love to. That'd be fun.
All right, let's go. Greg, as we're traveling around the property, obviously a lot of trees. Ethnos, originally New Tribes, it's a mission to the people in the jungle type situations.
Primarily, correct.
And so a lot of what you do here is giving people a little taste of what it's like to be in the jungle. And on this spot, literally, it's a taste. What are we looking at right here?
Well, with the college students that come, one of the professors that brings them really wanted us to teach them how the tribal people butcher, for example, a pig.
Yeah.
And so we actually do that with a professional butcher who comes and helps us. So these college students get a taste of, wow, something they've never done before. But more than that, we then bring the pig down here to this hole and we moo-moo it. That is a word from Papua New Guinea, where tribal people will heat rocks like those, get them red hot literally, put them in the ground, and then layer the meat on top of these hot rocks, and then cover it and seal it with dirt and leave it for about 4 hours to cook.
Wow.
So we do that at 1 o'clock, come back at 5, and the college students get to uncover it and kind of harvest the food, and then we race it back up to our dining hall and eat it for supper. And so the students get a real tribal cultural experience. That's kind of the idea of this.
Yeah, you don't get hot dogs more fresh than that.
No. And we put sweet potato in there too, because in Papua New Guinea, they're sweet potato people.
Okay.
So we cook sweet potatoes in meat. And the first time you ever do this, you just can't believe how good it works. It's actually really good tasting and kind of fun to do too. Well, Dave, this is our swimming hole that I was telling you about.
Now, we refer to it as a swimming hole here in America, but in Papua New Guinea, which is where a lot of the work is taking place, this is more than just a swimming hole.
Definitely. I mean, that's why tribal people all over the world live near something like this, either a bigger one or something like this, because this, like the tribe that I lived with, this is not only where you go swimming, it's where you get your drinking water. Those who do have modern clothes, for example, this would be your laundry machine. They come down here and clean their clothes on the rocks of the river, and it's obviously the source of life if you live in a jungle somewhere.
And what would happen in a scenario, because we've seen a lot of creeks here in Central PA, they've dried up quite a bit. You obviously have a nice hole here. What happens in these other countries when that water source dries up?
Even in the worst dry season ever, there's always creeks. It's the Amazon.
Right.
So even in a hyper dry season, you're going to have water. But in the countries where we work, like Africa, that becomes a problem. And so as you know, there are missions, and our mission does it too, that try to drill wells for those kind of people, so that when that happens, when the river dries up, they've at least got drinking water. But that kind of kills their bath and everything else when it's that dry.
Now, when you host camps or groups here at Ethnos360, they get to go in the swimming hole and enjoy
Well,
it?
yeah, anybody can come down here, but it's mainly the young people in the summer, the high school students. They come down here and swim, and as you can guess, boys at camp, this ends up becoming their bath almost. You know, they don't worry about taking a bath because they went swimming. But we primarily use the swimming hole with the high school groups that come in the summer primarily.
Would I be considered one of the young people?
Sure, of course you
All
will.
right.
Yeah, jump in. Yeah.
I guess I'll wait. I don't have a
Right, right.
towel. Well, I know there's more to see. You got some
Oh, a lot more.
buildings, and in fact, there's some cabins in the woods.
That's where these high school students stay. We'd love to show it to you.
All right, let's go. Well, Greg, we are up here on the side of the mountain now, a place that you call Jungle Camp. Now, I have to say, it's probably been, 15 years or more since I have been up here. It looks a little bit different, and that is because the change in mission of Ethnos360. Let's go back to those early years. Tell us a little bit about the history when it was called New Tribes and your involvement here.
Okay. New Tribes Mission actually started in 1942 with the focus of reaching tribal people. That's why it was called New Tribes. And in 1950, the mission came to this location. And for 65 years, it was used to train like bush missionaries, jungle missionaries. And part of their training back then was to come up here for 6 weeks every summer, build their own hut, build their own stove to cook with wood, build their own beds, everything, and then live in it for 6 weeks without going down into, quote, civilization. For most of us that ever did that, it was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And when the focus of this facility changed about 15 years ago, probably just after your last visit, this focus became more of mobilizing interest in missions, especially young people. And we redid it up here so that the young people every summer, every week that they're here, they could stay up here in Jungle Camp. But to keep them safe and so on, we couldn't put them in plastic shacks. We had to build these cabins, you know, so if a limb fell, they're safe and so on. But we still call it Jungle Camp. And the kids that you might see down there right now in the sessions, they're up here every night and they're sleeping in hammocks. It's a bit of a cultural experience for them.
Oh, I bet.
I think it's fun to sit in them, but then sleep in them every night is really a fun experience for them. They're using outhouses. The showers up here are just room temperature, air temperature water. It's sort of a little rustic, giving them a taste of what life could be like in the jungle. And then, of course, every night we have campfire sessions up here with them. They end up really enjoying this.
What is the importance, or why is it that Ethnos360 seeks to expose young people to missions and what it would be like to be in the tribes?
We realize there are still somewhere around 1,800 languages on the globe who still don't have a Bible. And no Christians go on to live with them and tell them about Jesus. So we're still looking for young men and women who would feel called, feel led to give their lives to maybe go try to translate the Bible for one of those and tell them about Jesus. And we have found out one of the best ways to get their interest is to bring them to a facility like this, have a lot of fun, have sessions like you've seen, and challenge them to consider growing up and maybe doing what I did. I went to the Amazon. I lived there for 14 years with a tribe that had never had paper, pencil, or writing or a Bible. And so we tell our stories of what that was like, and looking for the young guy or the young gal who would say, wow, I could enjoy a career like that. I feel God leading me to do that. And so we're actually hoping through this process some of them will do that. And by the way, that has happened many times already.
And this facility is open to a number of different groups, a number of different ages. Why don't you briefly summarize? And at the end of this episode, we're going to let people know how they can be part of a program here. But summarize for us what the different programs are.
Yeah, good. That's good, Dave. We basically offer 3 programs here. The one is that we're seeing today with high school youth groups who come with their church and do a week camp and get to do some of the things that you've seen already today, and part of it's staying up here in the woods. Come September through till May, we'll be running weekend retreats for churches, church groups. It can be 3 people joining, like you can just sign up and come with however many come from your church. And there might even be 2 or 3 churches here that weekend. And we do a little weekend exposure to missions. They don't stay up here in the woods. They take hot showers and have nice lodging, just like in a hotel room. But they get exposure to missions. The church group does. And that can be little kids all the way to grandma, because it's comfortable. We have a dining hall where they eat and so on. And then we also run, particularly during the second semester of the year, we run weekend-long college courses, we call them. And schools like right here in our area, Lancaster Bible College, they come every year in March. They bring a class. They live down in lodging. They don't stay up here. And we have an academic course that they actually get 3 college credits for. And we go into much more depth. How do you translate the Bible for people who never had an alphabet, you know? And how do you give them an alphabet? How does that work? And just all the struggles of working with a tribal group who maybe doesn't even have writing yet. And so colleges like Liberty University, Lancaster Bible College, and so on, they bring students here. And it's a course at their college, only they take it off campus.
Like I've said, I think this is one of Central PA's best kept secrets right here in Jersey Shore. Well, as we mentioned, this does look a lot different than when I was here before, when the missionaries had to construct their own homes.
That's right.
Can we go inside, take a look at one of these cabins?
Let's go. Yeah, you'll see it's modernized a little now. So this is how the students that come in this summer, high school kids, how they sleep all week.
Okay.
They actually, each of them get a brand new hammock when they arrive. It's part of their camp experience. And they're taught how to hang it. They're taught how to sleep in it. And then they get to take it home with them.
Oh, wow.
Kind of as a memento of their time here at Wyoming. So,
I'm not spending a week sleeping in a hammock.
Well, and you ask them, the first night or two is a little tough. By the end of the week, they love it. And that's why we started giving them a hammock, because they always would want to take their hammock home with them. So we said, okay, we're going to give them a new hammock, everybody who comes.
And I think, just as you mentioned, the greater appreciation there for what we are able to have, and maybe not taking it for granted so much, as they realize there's people around the country that are sleeping in a hammock, if that, in many different places.
You're exactly right, and I talked to them about that hopefully you go home thanking the Lord much more for what you have after just 4 or 5 days up here in the woods. And they do. It does. I mean, it does it to you as a missionary. This is just a little assimilation of it, you know. And I think it does it to a lot of the kids. But they have fun at the same time.
Right.
It's a lot of fun for them. Just explain that normally, whatever group comes, they get some teaching about tribal people. It's quite an experience, especially for the young people. They really enjoy it. But you need to see it while you're here.
Oh, wow.
In our village, as we call it. And this is a replica of the type of village that the tribe that I lived with in the Amazon built. Pretty much a replica of that, only a small one, obviously.
Well, in this tribe, they would also live on the perimeter of this circle?
Correct. And in the middle here, you can see is the sky. This is sort of like the courtyard for everybody's territory. But then back under the roof, the family builds the roof over them. And then that becomes their, quote, house, even though it's not divided by walls. You're going to have to try one of these Yanomamo hammocks, too, before you get out of here. Don't forget that.
All right. Well, I can definitely, I'm always up for climbing into a hammock.
Well, come over here and try this one.
Am I going to be able to get out of it?
I hope so. If not, we'll help you out. Go around that side and get in this one here.
This particular family would live in this little section. As we see, there's no walls. We have food in the pot here. That's how they would cook whatever they would eat.
Correct.
And then tell us a little bit about what's hanging up here.
Well, the
some different
Yanomamo chewed tobacco. This is really from up in the woods, but it represents their tobacco that they would harvest and hang here to keep dry, and they chew it. They've never heard of smoking tobacco. They chew tobacco, and they claim it keeps them from getting hungry. Above your head is some parrot feathers. Lots of those parrots in the jungle. Here is a monkey tail. This is a night monkey that they use, and they like to actually make a headband out of this. And so they think this fur is really cool, and it is kind of cool. Feel that it's nice and thick, and
oh yeah,
and feel the tail; it's even thicker yet. And they just, but for the Yanomamo, this tribe, yeah, there you go, you're fitting right in. Yeah, there you go.
I'm feeling it.
This shows you how blessed we are in the country that we live.
Well, Greg, thank you so much for the tour of Ethnos360, the former New Tribes facility here in Jersey Shore. It's crazy that this exists right here in Central PA. People come from all over to experience missions, and you serve as the director here of the YUMI program. And just thank you so much for taking your time and for the work that you do here.
Well, thank you for coming and exposing the valley to this. And we definitely would want the folks of the valley to know they're welcome here anytime, even just to come for a 10-minute visit and take a little tour, or to come to one of the programs. We'd love to have any of them come again. So thanks for coming. Thanks for your heart for what we're doing. And we'll see what the Lord does because of your visit here.
Well, be sure to catch the contact information at the end of this episode. We'll let you know how you can come, maybe as a family, maybe as a church group, and find out a little bit more about missions. If you think God has given you even the least bit desire to be involved in missions, this is a great place to come. Ethnos360 right here in Jersey Shore. That contact information is coming up. I'm Dave Jones for WGRC's Around the Valley. If you have a place of interest or a craft, hobby, or occupation you'd like to teach me about, be sure to submit the information to me via email. Here's the address, morningshow@wgrc.com. Once again, morningshow@wgrc.com. And who knows, I might just see you around the valley. Greg, thank you so much.
Good. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.